edition of ESPN on ABC.
Dover International Speedway, known for its high banking and high speeds, nicknamed the Monster Mile for its ability to crush cars and chew up championship hopes. Today, the Dodge Dealers 400, the second race in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup.
There's only one purpose, only one goal. And the men chasing the Nextel Cup want to be called only one word.
Champion. If I can't win it, then it can't be won. I focus on the game till I made it, son. So how you like me now? I said it, I meant it, I did it, baby.
The season starts here with the nuts and bolts of internal combustion. Here they build cars and dreams of a first ever first place finish, of back-to-back championships, of another milestone in a legendary career, and of outrunning 42 others looking to make their own dreams come true. They build to send a work of art to a metal-bending monster, hoping their creation can stand the test.
I'm a champion. If I can't win it, then it can't be won. I focus on the game till I made it, son. So how you like me now? I said it, I meant it, I did it, baby.
In the shop, cars are built. But in the chase for the Nextel Cup, history is made.
T-minus 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
The countdown is on. One race down, 9 to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup. 12 drivers, 1 championship. The Cinderella story so far, Clint Bowyer, who picked up the first win of his Cup career last week. But Clint and the rest still chasing teammates Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, tied at the top of the point standings. We'll hear from all of them, as well as Dale Earnhardt Jr. as NASCAR's most popular driver unveils his future. Hi everyone, welcome into our pit studio here at the Monster Mile and overlooking Pit Road, one of the most dangerous pit roads in the business. In fact, there isn't anything that's not scary about this place. Susie Culver with the champ, Rusty Wallace, and with the winning owner, Brad Daugherty. Guys, I think that Jeff Burton said it best. You want this track in the chase because it's so tough on cars and drivers.
And talk about tough, it's tough on everything, you're right. One of the toughest parts here at this racetrack, though, is exit at turn 4 and exit at turn 2, because if you get that wrong, you're going to get yourself in a big crash. And if you don't crash there, you come down this very narrow pit road and you pull out of your pit spot, here comes another car, you see the right front fender's getting tore up a lot out of the cars exiting their pit boxes. Very tight road, a lot of things going wrong down there.
And that's what makes the chase so great. We have the multiple disciplines that the guys get to go through. You have the mile-and-a-half tracks, which are the bread and butter of this series. Then you have the Bristols, and then you have Dover, the larger form of Bristol. You know, it eats up machinery. It's hard on the drivers. It's hard on the race cars. Strategy gets thrown out of the window sometimes because of the metal getting bent. So it's a lot of fun to watch.
This is a track that demands everything out of everybody, and that's why you want this race to be in the chase. So our 12 championship contenders will have their work cut out. Here's how they stand. Jimmy on the pole today, locked up top with Jeff. Tony Stewart just 10 points back. And look at Clint Bowyer, who gained 8 spots after his dominating win last week. How did the former Midwest motocross racer break through? His dad, Chris, up in the spotter's box last week, recounts the final laps of Clint's first win.
I was up on the roof in the spotter stand. I don't talk on the radio during the race, but I listened. He was totally losing it in the car. Oh, I wanted so bad to just tell him to take some deep breaths on that back straightaway and get himself under control.
Woo-hoo! Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Woo! I knew we could do it. Good job, boys.
I wanted to see the burnout real bad. Then I missed 3/4 of the celebration down in Victory Lane. I just grabbed him, get him a big hug, and then you just kind of sat down in the corner and just stayed somewhere and take it all in, you know, and wonder how in the world this happened.
Well, for the first time, Clint Bowyer returns to the racetrack as a race winner. But on Friday, it was back to reality, Clint. The nature of NASCAR as it is. What happened to you in qualifying? You had to use a provisional here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had a little disagreement getting into turn one, and it didn't get any better. It was just way too loose. We just over-adjusted, and, you know, that's how close this sport is, you know, how competitive it is. Went from hero to zero, the penthouse to the outhouse.
Everybody talks about the importance of starting up front here. You're starting 42nd. What is the key to passing here and getting yourself to the front?
Well, we worked on that. You know, certainly I knew that we had to do a lot of passing, and you got to be on the bottom. The cars will get tight, and they just can't keep it on the bottom. They'll wash up. So our car's working really good on the bottom. I think the biggest challenge for us is obviously going to be getting up and getting some track position, because we all know it's important with these cars. And then pit road right here where we're standing. It's going to be a challenge, sharing a pit stall, and then, you know, having a poor pit stall down there towards the end. So going to have a challenging day, but I know we can do it.
Well, Susie, he is going to be sharing a pit stall with Michael Waltrip. It'll be very interesting, but Clint Bowyer has done well here with 2 top 10s.
Jamie, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's tackle the 2 guys who made the biggest move in the chase, and starting with Bowyer. Last week, Brad, you said he being in 12th with all those guys up top, it was insurmountable, but there he is up in 4th now.
Clint Bowyer had a great week last weekend, Susie. He dominated the race, did everything he needed to do, but I still think with those 3 guys, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart, starting shotgun on the field with bonus points, you will not catch them. I still think their lead is insurmountable because they will be the most consistent over the long haul, Rusty.
Well, they're going to be very consistent. There's no doubt about that. But also, you got to look behind you. Look at Martin Truex and guys like that. Hey, they're running really good right now. They got good, fast cars. They're qualifying well. They're doing all the right things. So I don't think that Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon are going to drive off in the sunset by any means.
All right, the guy who's in the most trouble then is Kurt Busch. He lost the most points last week, 62 points. So what do you think of his status right now?
Well, right now he's in the danger zone to me. He could definitely make it up, but he doesn't have any mulligans left, that's for sure.
Yeah, he threw his one away. He's got to get up on the wheel and get some good solid finishes from here on out without question, even win a race or 2.
He's going to start 4th, so certainly improves his luck a little bit. Who would you say, though, would be your favorite out here today?
If I had to pick someone to win here today, I'd have to say Martin Truex Jr. He absolutely loves this racetrack. He's almost home. I think Truex is the guy to beat today.
Brad, I got to agree with you on that.
We
Martin
agree.
Truex, hey, buddy.
There you go.
That's cool, man.
Martin Truex Jr. is the Jersey boy, so it's his home track. A ton of fans out here to see him today. And Truex was the class of the field in June. His win on the high banks may have built the momentum he needed to reach the chase. He'll join us next, and as drivers make their way to introductions, Junior Nation taking in the last looks at the red Budweiser on their guy. A look back at his eventful week. And part of the pre-race festivities here at Dover, 3 members of the Aerial Adventure skydiving team out of Virginia, thrilling the crowds and lighting up the sky, representing the Dodge Dealers 400 as we get ready to rock race 28.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Chevy, an American revolution.
Our X Games pals putting on a show for fans here at Dover, and most drivers will tell you that it's these guys, BMX stunt guys, that are the true daredevils. As we are counting down to 400 laps and 400 miles, and this is a track that can eat you up or make you a hero, and that includes last June.
Well, and that win in June, a great way to top off what's been a good run for Martin Truex Jr. here at what is the closest to his hometown track, being the Dover Speedway. But what about today? You've got your 6th in the chase coming in, a win here in June. How much further forward do you think you can move today in the chase?
Well, we're going to certainly think we got a good car. Our best for Chevrolet was pretty good yesterday, and you know, we'll just take what we can get. Hopefully we'll be able to get up front, lead some laps, and be around at the end of the race for the win. But if we can't do that, we'll get the best finish we can and just do what we've been doing here lately.
We know this place is tough to race. How tough is it when you come down pit road, and what do you have to be careful of?
Well, pit road's always tricky here. It's just so small. Not only is it narrow, but it's short. The boxes are real small. So just got to be careful. You got to give and take. You know, if there's a guy coming out on you, you know, as bad as you want to keep that spot, you got to let off and let him in. So just be patient, do a little give and take on pit road, and hopefully we'll be able to drive by them all on the racetrack.
It's been a busy weekend for you here with family and friends here. Has it been fun?
Been a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun running that car in the Busch race yesterday. Hopefully we can better that by one spot today.
He finished second yesterday, as he mentioned. He'll look forward to his second win here at Dover and second win in the Nextel Cup Series today. Susie?
The day for the season, there's a total of 16 Car of Tomorrow races. Of course, they're going to run the COT here. Next week, the drivers return to the car of today at Kansas. In 2 weeks, the Car of Tomorrow faces what is perhaps its toughest challenge, the 2.66-mile Talladega Super Speedway. It'll be the first time the COT runs with a restrictor plate. So back in June, this was considered a big race for the COT because it was the fastest it had gone. As we saw, 5 of the 10 chase races are COT races. So how would you evaluate the COT's performance so far this season?
Well, right now, Susie, I think it's pretty good. It's definitely a safer car. It's saving the teams a little bit of money, I think. But the big problem we got right now is passing. These guys are all running bumper to bumper and can't seem to get separated because the cars are built so equal. They need to put some type of adjustability in the car so these teams can give each car a little bit of individuality, I would say.
I think you're 100% right, Rusty. These cars, and they are safe, and that is the most important thing. When I went through the garage this past week, I talked to every crew chief and every driver, and to a man, they all said if they would just give us a softer race tire, if we just had a little softer race tire, we could absolutely turn these things to the corner and race them harder. If they could do that, what about the old bias fly tire?
Oh, man, amen. Awesome? I totally agree with you, Brad. You need a softer tire. If the tire wears out a little bit, these guys are going to be slipping and sliding. The passing is going to come back and create a lot better racing.
Well, it seems like you've got the leader up front that's almost untouchable, but then there's some great racing back in the pack. How do we equal all that out?
Well, the racing up front is because the guys are usually got their game plans figured out. They're on top of their game. And guys can get runs, but they just can't get by one another. And, Rusty, if we could just see a little, like I say, softer tire, we think we could get some grip and get by people.
I think it's going to happen.
I hope so.
Now, drivers have complained, but NASCAR officials will tell you guys must adapt. The Vice President of Competition, Robert Pemberton, gave this analogy. It's like baseball. If you wanted it to be easy, then they would use aluminum bats. Well, so we've determined that the cars are so equal, but what's one big thing that the crew chiefs can do to make the cars better? Well, let's ask Tim Brewer at the Chevy Cutaway car in the Dish Tech Center.
Best thing I can work on today to enhance my performance to win the race, driver attitude. NASCAR has me pretty much handcuffed. They've got such strict requirements as far as templates on the COT car. I can't do a lot with aerodynamics. There again, my check sheet. Got good spring combinations, weight, ballast, shock absorbers. We've got all the mechanical stuff covered. Driver attitude, he comes in here with the attitude, I've run good here in the past, I'm going to run well today. The only thing I can do is make the car drive good for him to enhance his performance here at Dover, Delaware today.
Cutaway Car is brought to you by Chevy, the most wins in NASCAR history, an American revolution.
Drivers making their way to introductions. Kyle Busch have his work cut out today, starting 22nd. Junior, big news upcoming. Casey Mears running for pride, and Carl Edwards, we know, loves the concrete. Nearly 140,000 looking forward to this one. And the gold mine of merchandise is open for business. Dale Earnhardt Jr. unveils his new look, new number, new sponsors.